Hey, Vortex, I kind of wanted to talk about the passage that I just sang, because I think that it's really important that we apply things to ourselves. That sounds really narcissistic, like, oh, this is about me, but it's like, what's the point in like reading anything, especially if it's like a spiritual book, or if it's, you know, something that's supposed to help you? Like, why wouldn't you apply it to yourself? You know? I think that's the point of it. I really, really do. People obsess about the afterlife. They obsess about the sacrifice that Jesus made, and like, yeah, I understand why, but I think that they're missing a lot of the teaching, and I think they're missing out on, you know, what we're supposed to do. Like, we're really supposed to sacrifice ourselves in some kind of way. And I'm realizing that a lot of things that I have worried myself over are just silly, because like they're of the world, you know. And I chose to leave this world a long time ago. And so, yeah, when I read that from the prophet Jeremiah, I was so relieved, because I really struggled with that, you know, just not following. And my last relationship was such a doozy that I told myself, like, you're not doing this again. And I tried with a more unconventional person a few years ago, but that didn't work out either. And I just remember having this feeling in the pit of my stomach the whole time that I was dating this person, that, you know, this isn't supposed to happen. You know, I'm not supposed to be doing this. And it just never felt right. And it had nothing to do with him. And so, you know, I sat not in the assembly of the mockers, nor rejoiced. I really don't enjoy, you know, being a comedian in a lot of ways. Like, when I am around other comedians, I don't like them. I really don't. I think most of them are really gullible. They're just as gullible as all these other sheep, you know, and they're not that interesting. They're extremely arrogant. I'm not going to go so far to say as they all have like narcissist personality, because I don't know them on that level, you know. The only comedian I really got to know was Ronit. And, you know, she could be narcissistic from time to time, but she's got a good heart. I think a lot of those narcissists are just bad people. Like, they're just, they don't have any desire to be better people. They don't care if they treat people right, you know. And so, yeah, I don't really fit in with those types of people. You know, it's very, like, anti-spiritual. It's extremely materialistic. And way more so now because of, like, internet culture. So, yeah, I just don't vibe with it. I don't really fit in with the people I work with, as crazy as they are. They just talk about TV shows and TikTok videos and shit like that. You know, people that I go to AA meetings with, they're all fucking boring too. You know, it's like, I sound like I'm such a, you know, judgmental cunt, but, yeah, just reading that, like, sitting alone because God put me over here, and knowing that it's okay that I'm just kind of bitter. I get that kind of like salt and vinegar anger towards society. I don't want it though. You know, it's not like enjoyable for me. I think I think for a lot of people, it's like it completes them in a way to be angry. I don't know. Maybe it completes me to be sad. Because I'm not enjoyably angry about, unless I'm, you know, laughing and cutting up and all that. You know, you definitely see that side of me too, but it's like, I just don't vibe with so many people that exist. And I'm sure that it would be like this at any time in history, if you can even call it history, herstory. His story, her story. Get it? It's a story. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, if people can look up different stuff, and like especially now, the algorithm is proving that like if you just look up things that only apply to you or like you agree with them, then yeah, this machine will just like tell you whatever you want to hear, you know? Then if that kind of thing exists right now, then it probably always existed through other means. And so yeah, I'm right to be disgusted by this world. I'm totally right about it. And I'm not gloating because I'm right about it. It's like, I don't want to be, but at any given point in the past, let's just say that, in the past, I would probably hate all those people too. I'd probably still hate my race. I'd probably still hate my gender. Maybe my gender would be a little bit better. Probably not though. Women are so fucking annoying. We are, dude. Just listening to women talk, I don't know how men do it. I don't know how you have a wife and you don't fucking beat her. I mean, I don't. I know that's bad. That's bad. Okay? I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying, like, just listening to them talk, like, ugh. How do you not hang yourself in your basement, dude? I'm sorry if I sound like I'm really hateful or whatever. Because like I said, I don't want to be. But it's like the way that they talk, like, it just. I know that I talk a lot, but I'm talking to myself, okay? I don't expect you or anyone to give a shit. That's cool if you do. If you do, you're here. If you don't, you're gone, you know? But it's like women don't even care if like people are actually listening or paying attention and shit. They just keep yakking and anyway. But yeah, I don't like feeling that way. Like I don't feel superior to other women because I don't talk like they do. I just don't want to be around them. I mean, I don't really like being around men either. Because men have all their problems too. So, anyway, I said all that to say this. That when I'm around other people, I am just crawling out of my skin, you know? And I study people as kind of a defense mechanism so that I don't do something crazy. So I just like pay attention to the way that people talk, like annoying women. And I pay attention to like different details of the scene that I'm in. I study the ceiling and, you know, there's just so much that you can look at and listen to and figure out. And, you know, or I could just talk to God. I do that, you know. It does bring me closer to God to be so separate from society. But yeah, it is sickening. It's absolutely sickening. Our world is just full of morons and just boring people. If they're not stupid, they're just boring. And I'm sure that I'm boring to people too. I'm sure that I'm so boring. You know, this schizophrenic banter is probably annoying.
And that's why most people don't want to listen to it. And I don't blame you. Especially, like, if you don't agree with me, why the fuck would you stay here, you know? But yeah, that's kind of like how I feel though. Like we're just speaking a completely different language. And yeah, I feel totally isolated from everything and everyone. But it's good to be reminded why that is. And, you know, I discovered tonight that the reason why I'm so awkward is because I don't have those pretenses. Like, I don't feel the need to fill in the gaps. You know? Like, if I don't have anything to say, I don't say anything. And I don't just repeat myself. Like, I notice, like, women just repeat the same thing. Like, my mom does that. It drives me crazy. It drives my dad even crazier. Because it's like, she just asked me the same question over and over again. Because she has to hear herself talk. She doesn't like the silence, you know? There are a lot of people, they can't stand silence. And so they just say something that's totally unnecessary. So they don't have to hear themselves think and, like, how boring are you? I mean, seriously. Like, you've got to be really fucking boring to not be able to handle silence. And so yeah, that's why I don't really like being around people, because people expect words, you know, and if they don't have that, that's why they turn to the phone. And so I was thinking, you know, the reason why people love the phones is because they can't stand the silence. The reason why they have the TV on is because they can't stand, like, just being with their thoughts and, like, not being stimulated all the time, and, like, you know, being around somebody like me who's, like, just not gonna say anything, you know? Like, we can just sit here in silence and it'll be really fucking weird, and I'm not gonna feel the need to interject with something stupid or about the weather or, you know, whatever. I hate small talk. So I would rather be silent than do small talk. You know? That's just me though. Small talk is for small people that don't have the ability to process more controversial things like death. Okay? So, okay, I really want to do more bits on suicide. But I think that a huge part of, like, why people get mad about it isn't just because it's something that they can't control. It's like, it exposes how terrified people are of death. And obviously, the person that offs themselves isn't. You know? So it's a slap in the face. It's a slap in the face to people that didn't even know that person. You know? Like, how dare you not consider a bunch of people that never met you that are gonna be mad at you because of this really selfish thing that you decided to do. How could you not consider us over here? But yeah, it's such a joke, dude. It's such a joke. I got so many good bits on this subject because people are so stupid. They are so fucking emotionally unintelligent, it's not even funny. And the reason why is because they are spiritually unintelligent. Okay? Totally bereft of the ability to process life and death. Like, seriously, the reason why people can't live, you know, the reason why they're kind of stuck in this loop of stimulation all the time is because they don't want to think about their own consciousness. And I get it. I do. It's tough stuff. But yeah, those people are fucking pussies, dude. They really are. So as much as it puts me at odds with most people, it's like I'm really lucky that I'm
I'm able to think about this kind of stuff and not be afraid of it. Though I'm sure it's fucking aggravating to people, though. It's aggravating to people that prefer the small talk and, you know, the boring ass conversation over silence. You know, I'm sure that I annoy those people something fierce. I just rub them the wrong way. I know that. And I can tell, like, just being around people and their energy, like, how weirded out they are by me. Because they're just not used to, like, being around somebody that's not full of shit. You know? Anyway. I think I'm going to change the batteries in my piano. Do my taxes. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll go through another joke book. I'm trying to find more mics to go to. This dude I do stand up with, he's got a mic on Friday nights. But it's the same time that I usually go to this meeting. It's at this bar. Go figure. Yeah, I could do that. I really do want to try harder to, you know, do more creative stuff. Because, I mean, there's really nothing else for me to do. You know? Especially, you know, with all this futuristic crap going on. I don't want to be in a place of fear about it. But I do think that there's somewhat of a future in, you know, what I've been practicing for a good while now, which is art therapy. So I think it's pretty obvious how badly people need that shit. Yeah, we're really lucky to be able to see it this way. Because, you know, a lot of people, they do conventional stuff and it doesn't satisfy them. I always knew that it was never going to satisfy me. I think with modernity promises to complete people, you know? So if you have a TV, it sort of like fills in the gaps of like all the conversations that you're not having with your spouse, or like you're bored, you know? You could be bored with like, or disappointed with your marriage or with your children or your relationships in general. You could be bored with your job, or you could be bored with your friendships and with where you live and all that. So it's like, yeah, modernity promises that it's gonna like complete you, but that's bullshit, because nothing will ever complete you but God. And even then, it's still hard. It's still life. It's still taxing as fuck. And so, you know, I feel better when I read Psalms. I feel better when I talk to God. I feel better when I walk around and talk to myself. I feel better when I make stuff. And if I have a great conversation with somebody, that's really cool. But it doesn't complete me, you know? And I think art really touches on that longing and that need that we have spiritually to like connect with something outside of ourselves, because what is here is so lame. And I applaud anyone if they're able to stay married and not kill their spouse. I applaud anybody that's able to parent their children and not succumb to aspects of culture that are going to make their kids blow their brains out. Okay? I'm not joking about that, by the way. That's not something I say like lightheartedly. It's a truth. It's a major truth about the youth. Truth about the youth, okay? It's really sad. It's really, really sad. And it's always been sad what parents subject their children to, and they don't even realize it. So it's not like they're doing it on purpose. I feel like it's a subconscious thing for a lot of these people. And I'm trying to sound a little bit nicer about it, but I fail at that. I suck at not being a bitch. But yeah, like, a part of it is because I'm a comedian, but another part of it is because of that indignation. And so I'm indignant though about the world, because it seems like people are just, it's like they're destined to not be conscious. And so I wonder, like, did God make them that way? Or did the world make them that way? I don't know. I mean, it's not up to me. It's really not for me to figure out. Like, I will figure things out if they're supposed to be revealed to me, you know? So I can play detective all I want, but it's kind of a waste of time, because God's the one that reveals this stuff. Because if God doesn't reveal it, it's not going to be positive, you know? I know that for a fact. But anyway, yeah, this feeling of isolation, it's like I can't see it ever going away. But that's why I say I'm lucky, because I realize that. Whereas a lot of people, they're very lonely in their relationships because they expect all these things to make it better, and it doesn't. And that's another problem. We need to stop having this expectation. And I'm so grateful that I have art, that I can just make stuff. You know, James Murphy, you know, the lead singer of LCD Sound System, he said, the best way to complain is to make things. And that's so true. I mean, it's really all we can do. Like, complaining is kind of pointless. But if you make stuff, then that changes your energy. But it also, like, gives a reason for it. Like, it provides some sort of, like, relief. Like, okay, this bad thing is happening, but at least I got a good song out of it. You know? I mean, why do you think breakup songs are so much better than love songs? It's because they're actually believable. Because shit usually doesn't work out. So, yeah. I don't know, I was listening to The Police today, that every little thing she does is magic. And it's like, you know, that was probably written like when they were in love. Like really in love. And I mean, any good love song is going to be written at that peak. You know, when things are just amazing. And the sex is a constant, you know? I mean, okay, so maybe I should come up with like a playlist of love songs that make me never want to be in a relationship again, because like I could just listen to the song and be satisfied with that, because relationships are so boring and disappointing. It's not even funny because of songs like that, you know? Like I want that kind of feeling like all the time, and it's just not possible. And so maybe I'm just unrealistic, but you know, I can't see myself ever being satisfied enough with a relationship that, you know, I wouldn't be somewhat bitter and extremely sad that it wasn't just like the song Close to Me by The Cure. You know? Like I would be just devastated. Like if I was in a relationship and God forbid the man, 'cause hopefully it'd be a man, the man that I was with, like, he just couldn't satisfy me. I'm not just talking sexually, like just mentally and spiritually. Because I feel like relationships, it should be spiritual. Because y'all are connecting on that level. And so, yeah, it's like if it's not as good as like Lovers Rock by The Clash, like I don't want it, you know? You're not going to convince me that you're going to give me that baseline, you know? And I hate that. Like, there's a part of me that really, really hates that. But then there's another part of me that's like so relieved that at least I know this and I'm not dumb enough to get married, you know? So, yeah, like of all the married couples I've met, maybe 3 of them seem like they don't want to kill each other. And that's just the front that they put on, you know? I'm hoping it's not a front. But yeah, like I'm lucky that I understand the futility of most things, and that it's not ever going to be what we've been lied to about, you know? Like, you know, you see a lot of stuff right now about the economy, like you can't buy a house, and, you know, or like people talking about, you know, marriage is a sham and college is a scam and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, dude, this is fucking obvious. And it was obvious to me when I was 5, okay? So that's why God told Jeremiah not to take up a wife or have any children. And I felt like I heard the same voice of God because, you know, I've never wanted that sort of thing. I thought that there was something wrong with me, so I tried to have that sort of thing. It disappointed me even more than it probably disappoints all the people that have it. They've trained themselves to think that they're supposed to have it. And I really believe that most people just want somebody there. They just want to say they're in a relationship because they don't want to be alone. They're so terrified of being alone. They're terrified of waking up alone, sleeping alone, all that. So get this. You're in a shitty relationship. Probably the best time of that relationship is when y'all are both asleep in the bed, right? So then you have the satisfaction of saying, I'm not alone. And you don't have to talk to that person because y'all are both asleep. You know? That's most relationships.